Hey everybody, it's Joe. Just wanted to show you the project I'm doing today. So what's happened is our water heater, which is now 12 years old, has started to fail. And the reason I know that is if you look here, you can see all the wet rot on the wood. What's occurred is it started to leak and it started to come down to the floor. So what I've done for prep so far is ripped off all the available backing board. You can see some of it still left underneath there. The sheetrock, which is soaked with water. I'm going to have to take a good look at the pedestal that was built here out of 2x4. You'll notice the first, there's a couple 3/4 inch pieces of plywood that are 2x2 that create the top for that. The top one's definitely ruined, and the second one probably ruined also. We won't know until we actually take the top one off, see if it's soaked all the way through. 3/4 is pretty thick. So before we can do that, we have to remove the water heater. In order to do that, I got to drain it. So I have a hose hooked up here, and then it runs out. Sorry for the light there, everyone. It's a little break. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it out there. It's just too darn bright. It's a beautiful day in Sacramento. But anyway, what's happening is I'm draining it right now. So in addition to that, while that's draining, I can start unplugging some of my connections. So up here at the top, we have the water, cold water that comes in on the input side. It's easy to tell because it has a knob on it. So I shut that off. Went inside, turned on the hot water, and lo and behold, nothing's coming out. And this is the input, this is the output of the water heater that goes back into the wall and feeds the house. So I can take both of those off. I'm going to have to remove those nipples and reuse them, as the new unit did not come with nipples. So I'll just reuse those. If there's any damage, I'll just go buy a couple more over at Home Depot. And then I have a bypass line. Now what's going to happen here, this will be interesting. The bypass is currently, in this design water heater, is mounted on the top, and then it has pipes, copper pipes that are well sweated, that are mounted, so there's nothing to unscrew. On the new unit, it's on the side. So I'm going to have to redo that entirely. So my idea is I'm going to use some flex hosing. Since this is not under pressure, it's just a bypass line. So I'm going to, the only thing I'm going to have to do that's different is, because I'm going to be cutting this copper and there's no threads on anything, so let me show you here. I'm going to cut it here somewhere, and then I'm going to use this thing called a shark. This piece is going to slip onto the top, grab, and then the other side's threaded, 3/4 inch. And then what I'll do is, I have a nipple, extended nipple, and what I'll do is that to that, and that'll hook up my hose. So that's the plan there. So currently I'm just draining it and waiting for it. The other thing, of course, got to turn off the gas. So the gas has been shut off, and I can start to now remove the fittings here, get them ready for the new unit. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'll come back later and show you where I'm at. Okay, so the next thing is I can do this while I'm waiting for the water to drain. I've got to, I can go ahead and start to dress my two pieces that are going to go together at the bottom of the release valve. So all I'm going to do is pop out some thread tape here. Get this guy ready. I don't know why I unwound that. Made my life difficult for no good reason. Okay. Clean that up later. I'll just join these guys and then tighten it up, and I got half of my job done, and I can go ahead and install it on the other piece. I'll just wait until I'm all finished though, because I still have to figure out how this is going to go up on the tube. Okay, so next thing I did was went ahead and pulled the vent. So just a couple screws, sheet metal screws hold this in. So I went ahead and removed it, just getting everything clear. I've got one more item I have to remove on the old water heater, and that is, and I now need to cut the copper tubing away. And that's really that and the gas is all I've got left to do. Okay, next thing I have to do is I'm going to remove the gas lines here. So I've already shut off the valve. Whoa, it's tight. I have to get a good grip on it. In order to make sure I don't snap this thing, I'm going to grab it with a monkey wrench here and then come around on the other side. This way I don't torque this unit and bust it. Not that it has very much value, but I need to get all these parts off. We're using a lot of them on the new heater. But I will inspect them and make sure that all this is in top shape before I use it again. Alright, so we've removed all of the gas fittings off of the old unit. We're going to reuse some of this stuff. So we've got a nipple here that's still in good shape. So we're going to pitch some thread on here, or some thread tape I should say. Got a nice good seal on the gas. Don't want to over tighten it, make it nice and snug. Okay, next piece.
I want to change the world instead. I sleep. I want
Our T-bar in. Seems like it's too tight.
All we can do is keep breathing.
Be careful. That is really tight, but it's okay. It's gas, I don't want it to leak. Next, a bit more thread. The final little piece here.
All that I know is I'm free. And all I can do is keep.
Okay, so we're all assembled here for gas. Okay, the next part of this project is the only part so far that's destructive. I won't be able to reuse parts. This whole bypass system is sealed, so I'm going to have to pick a place to cut it and then as I was mentioning earlier, I'm going to place this unit like this and then use a flex hose that's going to run around and down to the new unit's bypass. It should be right around here. So, but I need to get this stuff off. So I have to cut it in a place that I can circle it. Probably cut it here and here. And then we'll see what we get. Okay, so this, I've cut the copper out of here, the copper tube that was going up here. So now I'm going to take my shark fitting here, slide it on here, and there it is. You slide it down and it locks like a Chinese finger trap. So that's ready to go. Perfect. Now I'm just going to have to hook up my hose to here, put some thread tape on it, hook up my overflow hose to here, and that part's done. So now I can move on to getting the water heater out of here. Alright, so as you can see, the water heater's been removed with the help of a friend. We tipped it out of the way, and when we got to the pedestal, we found that the first two 3/4 inch pieces of plywood were totally soaked and had been were worthless. You know, they were not going to be recoverable. Hey, T. No. You go at the front door. Are they wet? Okay, so this has been cleared. So I'm still dripping water here. Let's take these guys up. Okay. So the base has been cleaned. I used a vacuum and cleaned all the garbage up and dried it off as much as possible. Now what I'm going to do, is cover this with plastic since it's pretty dry. Go ahead and cover it with plastic. And this time, if I ever have a leak again, I'm not going to get this wood wet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so what I've got here is I've covered the entire structure in plastic, black plastic, and then I'm now starting to fit my 3/4 inch melamine sheets around there to recover the box. Okay, just back from the hardware store because the old 18-inch connector gas line was not going to work, so I had to go pick up a longer one. So now I've done that. I'm now prepping the fittings. I've got a single fitting that's not compression fitting, so I'm taping that one up, and then the rest are compression type fittings, so I don't tape those up. That one there and that one there. So, but I do have to test them at the end. Okay, so here's what it looks like now, all connected. Once again, just made a tight connection there with the wrench, tight connection on the other end, and then threading on the one in the bottom. So we'll test it later for gas. Now we need to go up and finish the top. I had to go pick up some 3/4 nipples to reconnect. Okay. Last thing to bolt up for me right now are some 2.5 inch, I should say 3/4 inch that are 2.5 inch long nipples for the inlet and the outlet for the top of the water heater. I had to get new ones, and now I need to put some thread lock on them and then put them in. Okay, so here are the 2.5 inch, 2.5 inch long, the 3/4 by 3/4 nipples that need to be installed. So there's one already done. Second one, I'm just getting ready to get started, tighten it in, and then I'll put the connector on it, and then it's all done. So now we monitor just the water to make sure we don't have any leaks. This is the incoming. Looks pretty good. Had to play with it a little bit. Make sure I'm doing it right, getting a good seal. Now I'm watching I have a hot water line open in the house so that water will flow through here even though it won't be hot, just to make sure that we're getting a good seal. So far so good. Okay, the water's been starting to fill the tank now. It's starting to get quieter, the tank, as it becomes more full of water. What I've done is gone inside, turned on the hot water in the kitchen, and that needs to run for 3 minutes until all the air is purged from the system, and then the water piece is complete before I turn on the gas. Okay, last item to install before I fire on the gas is the flue. So I have the 2 pieces that I need along with some sheet metal screws that come with it. I need to just mount it up, and then I'll start the gas. Okay, so far it looks good. You just follow the instructions on how to start the piezo burner, but basically when that light LED is blinking, that means it's working correctly, and it blinks every 3 seconds or so. So anyway, we've got a flame, so we're heating up the water right now. We've got no leakage, so everything looks good. Now, last thing I have to do is I have to put the insulation back around the tank and then secure the tank with its for earthquake preparedness, and then job's done.